In this tutorial, we'll discuss how to annotate a document using Manav annotation platform. Broadly, there are 3 steps involved in the annotation process. Read and identify the important sentences in the document. This is like the popular habit of highlighting the important contents when one reads a scientific paper. Tag all the biological entities mentioned in the sentence. Tagging is the process of adding the biological word in the sentences to the correct entity category. For instance, MAPK can belong to the category gene, human can be organism, cancer can be disease, and TLR signaling can be a pathway. Manav platform has predefined entity categories for various biological and scientific words. This is explained in detail further in this tutorial. Identify the sentences which capture the key findings from the paper and add it as key result. How to identify the important sentences and key results from the document is covered in the separate video. Now let's see how to add annotations in Manav annotation platform. Using your credentials, log into the annotation platform and view the document that is to be annotated. Note that there are 2 ways you can go through a document, the reading view and annotation view. The reading view allows the user to read the document in a user-friendly format, and the annotation view is for adding annotations to the document. Open the document in annotation view. The sentences in the document are shown in text format. Select the important sentence by click and drag method. Whatever text we select from the document will appear here, indicating this will be the text that you will be annotating. There are 2 ways to annotate a sentence: auto annotation or manual annotation. In auto annotation module, the biological words defined in the auto annotation dictionary are automatically tagged to their entity category. In manual annotation, you have to select a word or group of words and manually choose the correct entity category to add them. Please note that the manual annotation is not meant for a full sentence but for a biological entity or a word. The entity categories in Manav are grouped together in multiple hierarchies. For instance, organism hierarchy contains categories belonging to organism. Similarly, biomolecules categories contain all type of biomolecules. Please go through the list of entity categories before you start the annotation module. You can search for entities using the search box. The details of the entity categories are shared in the quick guide. We'll now look into adding auto or manual annotation to the document. Let's identify an important sentence and tag the biological words. First, perform auto annotation of this sentence. The system has annotated the scientific words based on its prior knowledge. You can see that the biological entities are tagged as genes and biological processes. To add manual annotations, select biological words and choose the right category and click on OK. As soon as annotations are added to a sentence, that is, the words in the sentence are tagged to entity categories, the sentence along with the tags are saved to Manav knowledge base. Please note that auto annotations are not 100% accurate and sometimes they may provide conflicting annotations due to the subjectivity in representation of biological information. For example, AR and ERBB2 are tagged as genes, but in this context, they are pathways. It is important to validate the auto annotations and modify when applicable. You can delete or edit the annotations by double-clicking on the annotations. To delete, select the Delete Annotations button. You can select multiple words or sentences and perform bulk delete as well. To edit, double-click the entity and the Edit Annotation module is shown here. You can modify by choosing the right category. Also, auto annotations may not cover all the biological terms in a sentence. If they are missed, please add them manually. You can also select multiple sentences that you feel are important for auto annotation. Alternately, you can select a single word and add multiple annotations to it. For example, the compound Ag825 is a chemical compound as well as an inhibitor in the context of the paper, so we'll tag it accordingly. You can also select multiple entities simultaneously. For example, here the basal ERBB2-like are diseases. So I'll search disease here and the two words basal ERBB2-like are tagged as diseases. The entity category has an additional hierarchy where in the options to tag images, tables, URLs, references, etc. are provided. As the annotation view is text only, you cannot view the images. But if an important sentence is associated with a table or an image, it is important to tag the word. For example, figure 1 as an image. Similarly, if an important result has reference, you can add them to references. This will help in connecting multiple papers together. In case, if the right entity category is not listed, you can add the biological word to the category others. However, we request you to consider all the categories before using this option. Please note that all annotations are auto-saved. After annotating all the sentences from the document, you have to identify 5 to 10 sentences that are the key results of the study. For example, if you have annotated 20 to 25 important sentences from all sections of the document, you have to now identify the primary findings from the study, preferable from the results, and discussion section, which can summarize the gist of the document in 5 to 10 sentences. Select these sentences, click on Mark as Key Results. All the sentences marked as key results can be viewed in the summary panel. It is important to tag the biological entities of the key result sentences. Also, you can add more information or comments about an annotated entity in this notes section. Which we can see by hovering over the annotation. From here, you can also see the contributor name, time, and date associated to this note. This text box button allows you to see the notes or comments. After you complete the annotation process, you can send the paper for reviewing by clicking on Send for Review button. Once the paper is sent for review, you can still access the document in reading view but no longer will be able to edit the annotations or add more annotations. The paper status will also change to awaiting internal review, which you can see in your dashboard. The document will be editable again only after the reviewer sends it back to the contributor for more annotations or corrections. After certifications, the extracted information from the paper That is, important sentences along with the tagged biological words and key results are saved in the knowledge base. To summarize, read the paper, identify all the important sentences and tag the biological entities. Verify the auto annotations and use manual annotations as and when needed. Further, specifically identify 5 to 10 sentences as the key results of the paper. It is recommended not to exceed more than 7 to 10 sentences as key results. Thank you.